Hey, everybody. I just wanted to give a few moments of perspective from an independent voter headed into this 2024 election season. Since the 2000 election, I have been an independent voter. And when it comes to how I'm voting this season, I was one of those who never thought that Mr. Trump was a viable presidential candidate. As a matter of fact, in the presidential election of 2016, I didn't think that Mr. Trump or Mrs. Clinton were viable candidates. I wrote something silly into the top of the ticket because I was protesting. And when he was elected, my viewpoint was to let's stand by. Let's give him a chance. He's the duly elected commander-in-chief, president of the United States. Let's stand back and give him a chance to be the president and see what he does. I can tell you on just about every turn, I was disappointed, frustrated, and disgusted about his movements and his actions as the president of the United States. I think that on the international stage, he probably embarrassed us, behaving like a bully, and really almost like a traitor towards our NATO allies. The way that he behaved amongst other foreign leaders like a bully, believing Vladimir Putin over the American intelligence, writing the love letters to the North Korean dictator, making himself a fanboy to the Chinese dictator. Those type of things to me were not in the best interest of our nation and didn't have anything to do with him being a Democrat, Republican, or anything else. This is just me as an independent being an observer. And then, the more and more we got into his presidency, it seems like the more and more people who were a fan of him or who voted for him had to make excuses for things that he would say. You can never hold him responsible for what he says. Somebody has to always come and explain what he said. That doesn't work well for me. And then there were several Republican elected officials that I had great respect for. And many of them told us who he was in the run-up to the 2016 election. If you go back and look at some of his most vocal supporters, go look at what they said in 2015, 2016, in the run-up to the election. They told you who he was. They told you he was dishonest. They told you he was a crook. They told you that he was not as good as a businessman as he purports to be. And all this stuff has come out to be true. And so I've lost respect for the elected officials who really know more than the private citizen behind the scenes. They know how crooked this guy is. But for the love of power and because of the, the attachment to party, the loyalty to party, they have backed this man who I think is just not a viable candidate, not only for president. If he was on the local ballot here where I live, I wouldn't vote for him to be dog catcher. I just don't think that Mr. Trump is a viable presidential candidate. And I haven't even begun to mention the crime, right? I mean, come on now. There's just certain things you cannot unsee and cannot unhear. And I'm not speaking from a political ideology. I'm just saying what I see. Now, on the other side, I don't think that VP Harris is the savior of the world. Jesus Christ is the savior of the world. But when I look at the candidates, to me, she's a much more viable candidate. The way she purports herself, presidential, respectful, trustworthy. Is she perfect? Certainly not. Neither are you nor I. But as far as them two, as candidates for president of these United States, most definitely my vote would be for VP Harris. Now, I got a lot more to say, but I won't say too much more here. I'll add some more commentary in another clip. But that's just, a few thoughts from an independent voter and an independent thinker, just my observation of what I see. Talk to you later.